We have some major updates of mixed martial arts, starting with the news. Alex Pereira is making $5 million for saving UFC 303 event. After Conor's main event fight at UFC 303 was canceled, Gilbert Burns recently addressed this issue. In a recent episode of their podcast, Burns and Moicano discussed how big of a star Alex had become in the UFC. He believes that the Brazilian had already made $5 million for UFC 300 and is likely to have made the same deal for UFC 303. Burns said, "I think they have a very good relationship with the UFC, so this guy should be making, I think he made more than $5 million on UFC 300, and I think he is going to make over another $5 million right now for 303.
To save a McGregor card like that, how much money do you guys think?
In the 300, bro.
In the 300,
bro,
yeah.
The guy make that pay-per-view on 300.
How much money do you think he's gonna make all in on this fight?
Nah.
Whoa. You think? Hey,
you
shoot higher,
Gilbert's
bro.
gonna make $1 million on his next fight,
more,
bro.
Shoot quicker, I wish.
Way more than $1 million, way more. Like 5?
Nah, at least 5.
5
at
plus?
Least 5.
At least 5. At least 5.
And he got good managers because his manager is Eddie Soares and the guy Joinha. So this guy used to manage Anderson Silva, all these guys. So they work with LFA that those guys do at UFC Fight Pass. I think they have a very good relationship with the UFC.
Yeah.
So this guy should be making, I think he made more than 5 on the 300. And I think he's gonna make over another 5 right now on the 303.
A big update is coming out regarding Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance before his fight with Devin. As a result, his victory over Haney was overturned to a no contest by the New York State Athletic Commission. Garcia denied knowingly using performance-enhancing drugs, but agreed to a settlement that includes a 1-year suspension from boxing, forfeiting his $1.1 million purse, and paying a $10,000 fine. This decision erases what would have been a major upset victory for Garcia and ensures Haney retains an undefeated record. In response, Ryan Garcia replied to Devin, "F you, crybaby bitch." This is a big news for the boxing world, as Devin Haney might consider retiring now that his record is undefeated again. By the way, what are your takes on this? Dana White hints at potential Amanda Nunes return after 1-year hiatus. Recently, Dana White has hinted that Amanda Nunes might return to the UFC. Nunes retired after defending her bantamweight title at UFC 289 in June last year, choosing to focus on her personal life instead of a planned trilogy fight with Juliana Pena. However, with the UFC's acquisition of Kayla Harrison, a fight between Nunes and Harrison could happen. White mentioned their strong relationship and the possibility of Nunes' return during a recent podcast appearance, praising her influence and achievements in the sport.
She could come back. There's a possibility she could come back. But again, a very unique individual in her own right. You know, very powerful woman that is looked at as the GOAT now in female fighting. You know, married to another female fighter, so very inspirational and big in the gay and lesbian community. You know, now a mother. You know, she blazed her own trail in UFC. Like, everybody's journey is different and not the same, you know, as an athlete and as a human.
Kamaru Usman admits that he was super nervous before his first fight with Jorge Masvidal. During a recent Pound for Pound podcast, Kamaru Usman is admitting that he felt very nervous before his first fight with Jorge Masvidal. He explains that Masvidal's confident statements in interviews, or where he said he would baptize Usman, affected Usman deeply. Usman worried and felt anxious, thinking about the possibility of Masvidal defeating him in the fight. This nervousness persisted while Usman was in his hotel before the fight.
Then I think maybe a year later, you and I fight.
Yeah.
And then boom,
under the craziest circumstances, in the
crazy
middle of Corona.
Middle of the Corona, you fly all the way over and take the fight, and I will have to say, and I'm gonna be honest about this. For one of the first times, of course we get nervous for every fight. But one of the first times, it got to me. Everything around me got to me because, bro, they're playing your viral, like I said, the most viral knockout ever. They're playing that thing every freaking minute on every channel, everywhere, on all the socials, everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this guy's trying to come in on 6 days notice. Now I'm trying to make the mental switch, like, oh, I'm going to be fighting a different style. You know, he's fast hands, he's good counterpuncher. I'm trying to picture all this, but I'm seeing this every day. And they're asking me every interview, how are you gonna deal with this? And I'm watching your interviews, and I'm gonna baptize this guy. And if gets
like,
to me,
no,
I'm in the hotel. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, is he gonna baptize me? What the is this? And I'm in the hotel, and I'm super nervous for this, especially that moment before you go to the arena for the fight. And I'm in my room, just like, what am I so nervous right now? Get it together, get it together. And I would say that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking fights that I had.
But also all the circumstances
All the
we were
circumstances.
dealing with. It was a
Alex Pereira shares the latest sparring footage with his son.
Nada aí, patrão. Porra. Tá forte. Underhook, Lohan, underhook. Get out of there. Create space.
Michael Chandler is considering fighting Max Holloway while waiting for Conor McGregor's return to the UFC. Although Michael Chandler hasn't openly stated it, he recently hinted at something big. A fan asked Chandler if he would like to fight Max Holloway, to which Chandler responded with a salute emoji, clearly indicating he is ready for the match. Now it remains to be seen whether this fight between them actually happens. Earlier, Ilia Topuria had called out Holloway, which Holloway accepted. Let's see what unfolds next.